Superintendent Thad Phipps is with us, and I got a email, press release yesterday that said, well, I'll let you kind of explain what happened, but the good news is school is on normal schedule today, and kind of fill us in a little bit on what you guys you and the police and everybody's working on yesterday.
Sure. Well, this morning, Gene, the message that we want is we're asking parents to please help us in visiting with their children, because in a situation like yesterday, it was very unfortunate. A young man who's a very good child. There's nothing wrong with a child. He's a fine young man. Made a poor decision to put something on social media and airdrop it at the bus lane at Zia. And so anybody within about 30 feet started receiving it when the child was just trying to send it to one of his friends as a joke. And I think he figured out last night that it's not a joke. It's not funny. Both of them were his guns. One was an airsoft pistol and the other one was an airsoft BB gun. And they look very real when they're in the picture, and then when you put something on there like that says "Don't come to school tomorrow," it is a threat, and it causes a great stir in our community, as it does in any community. And so we just really want our parents to sit down with their children this evening and just impress upon them, just like we are going to today at school, that these types of things are very serious. They do cause panic, and it's very unnecessary. And so I'd like to kind of switch the conversation over to how we should use social media, if you don't mind, for just a second.
Yeah.
This is kind of a teaching moment, and we have a chance when we wake up every single day to either make people feel good about themselves, or we have a chance to make them feel not so good about themselves, and we ought to be using social media to spread love in this community, love across the world, kindness, respect for one another. And I just make that challenge again today to our students here in the Artesia Public Schools, those of you that are listening, parents, those of you that are listening, everybody that's using social media. Let's start today, and let's use social media to spread love throughout our communities and around our state and around our world, and just communicate kindness, reaching out to folks, checking on people. Let's use social media that way, sharing pictures of friendship, kids playing together, birthday parties, family gatherings. Let's use social media for that, rather than making a mistake and even though they thought it was a joke, choosing it to send something like that. It just causes a great stir, and it keeps kids from wanting to come to school. It makes parents fearful for sending their kids to school. And so let's choose love and kindness rather than choosing to use it the other way. And I want to say a big thank you to the police department. They did a great job yesterday in investigating, all of this. Jeff Fletcher and Corporal Harrell and Corporal DeVore and all of those guys, Kirk Roberts, just all of them did a great job in trying to help us lead this down. I want to say thank you to the mother of this child. She's the one that actually realized that it was her son that made the mistake, and just honestly brought him to my office last night about 20 minutes before everybody got the second post from us. And so I really appreciate her, and the child was very upset that he made that mistake. He had no ill intentions at all. Again, this young man is a fine young man. He just made a mistake. But again, Gene, I just want to make the challenge to everybody that's listening across Radio Land here. Guys, we need to love each other. Life is a gift from God, and it's too short to continue this type of message. Let's send different messages. And Gene, I don't have very many I don't have social media, so I need some help. So I've got the one there at the school. I can send it through Bright Arrow, and parents and staff that are listening. We are working on that this morning. I know that not everybody got the first text. And Danny Parker and our team are going to be working on that this morning. Everybody that has a cell phone in the system should have received the text. And I went through and looked at the report, and I think part of it, Gene, is people have to accept it. And I'm not a social media guru, but when somebody sends something like that, you have to say, yes, include me in the future ones or whatever. And about 75% of the text that went out, or the phone numbers that we went, had not accepted our
75%?
Yes, it was huge. It just kept said did not send because it didn't accept it. Nobody's accepted it yet. And so we apologize for that. And then in the second one, of course, we utilized our email as well. And there was only 75 emails out of 2,800, and I think it was 26 that didn't go. And so the email seems to be really, really good, but those 75, I was kind of looking at some of them, and they're probably human error in the entry of them or something like that. But we want our community to be communicated with, and we're sorry that the first one didn't get out, but please, I'll send a couple more this morning, and if you get them and it says, hey, to get this you need to accept it, please accept it. We won't bombard you with different things, and I'm not much of a social media guy, but
Yeah.
anyhow.
I've kind of given up on it myself personally, but like you said, the radio station has one because we do a lot of our event streaming on the social media. But that
Yes, sir.
But that's and this is something that's it turned out to be a bad joke.
Yes,
and,
sir.
and apologies have been made, but at the time those things happen, you don't know that, and so
That's correct.
between your school officials and law enforcement officials, there's a lot of activity that takes place when something like this appears.
That's correct, and also want to say, thank you. Wow, you're make a good point. Darian Jaramillo and Scott Neal and Matt Kahn and Chanda Crandall, and some of our other principals, Eric Greer and Mark McAllister and Haley Goff. All of our administrators were involved in trying to figure out, from when it happened at the bus stop. It was on, bus 19 actually is kind of where it originated, and we were just trying to figure out where it might have originated from, and communicated to our area superintendents in the valley. I really appreciate them responding and saying, hey, no, we have not seen this. This must be isolated to you guys. And of course, if it's an airdrop, it goes within about 30 feet. So it wasn't actually sent through, like Snapchat or Facebook. It wasn't actually sent through something like that. It was just airdropped. And so when it gets airdropped, from my understanding, it's about a 30-foot radius, and then people can share it, as they want to, and so we appreciate the kids sharing it with their parents. That's what we want them to do. When you see something like that, please share it with your parents, and it'll get back to us quickly. I mean, it got back to us within probably about a minute.
Wow.
A minute or two. I knew about it because a kid went to the principal and said, hey, I just got this, and she sent it, of course, immediately to me, and we got on it right away. So there's absolutely no threat today at all. But we appreciate the police are going to be at every school. Please tell your children, don't be afraid of that. It's just, and it's not really even a precaution. It's just, a good faith effort by the police to help kind of calm the children and the parents, to let them know that, hey, we are here, we are going to be around, and we're so fortunate to have a wonderful police department, and Artesia Police, Eddy County Sheriff, and the state police have really stepped up this year to be in our buildings and to make relationships with kids and staff. And so anyhow, good, I guess not a good teachable moment, but a teachable moment today. Let's switch from making mistakes like this to loving each other and spreading kindness around Artesia in our world. So,
Well, when social media is used to keep families connected together and share those kinds of events and positive things, then social media is a good thing. But
Yes.
You're definitely correct. It can be misunderstood or used incorrectly, and then it
Yes, sir.
creates all kinds of concerns for parents and
Yes, sir.
kids in the community. So, well, very good. Anything else regarding this that you want to mention, or did we kind of cover everything?
No, sir, we covered everything, and like you were saying earlier on the radio, this seems to be Goddard Week.
Yes, it does
so
seem to
we
be.
we had Goddard here with the girls soccer earlier this week, and then volleyball tonight, and football tomorrow night. So go Bulldogs, and we'll see what we can get done these next couple nights.
Yeah, I understand there's, I don't know if it's a concern, but there was a question about the size of the crowd that we're bringing to the game on Friday night.
Yes, sir. Yeah, if Mr. Brian Luck is listening, he's a superintendent in Roswell. We were up in Albuquerque at a meeting earlier this week, and he leaned over at one of our meetings, and he said, "Thad, are you guys shutting down at 2 o'clock again to bring everybody from Artesia to Roswell?" And I said, "You better start bringing in extra stands, Brian. We're packing the Wool Bowl." And
Yeah.
so anyhow, no, we're going to have good folks traveling tonight for our volleyball girls. We're sure excited about them taking on the Lady Rockets, and we know they're going to do well. And then of course bringing our football team up there. And just want to point out too that when you go to a contest like that, you've got the team that's on the court or on the field playing, but you also have two other groups. Our wonderful cheerleaders. Those guys work so hard to support everybody, and so they're there. They're an integral part of both contests, as well as our Pride of the Pecos Valley, the Artesia band. I get very fortunate to be able to listen to them every single morning in the parking lot, the pit, because it's just right, about 100 feet from my office. And so thank you, Pride of the Pecos Valley and Lisa Dillon and all the folks for playing good music for me every single morning that I get to listen to. But, it's and then you get the community. The next part is the community comes, and so it's a wonderful time to celebrate and be able to be together and do the things that kids want to do. And it's just a lot of folks getting together and just real positive. And so those are the things that we need to focus on, rather than this other. So
Yeah. Oh, another positive thing, first Saturday in December, the Coaches Association Red Green All-Star Game.
Yes.
Football games will be at world-famous Bulldog Bowl.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We're sure excited about that.
Yeah, that's going to be real fun to see that, because you'll have football players from all over the state of New Mexico. Some have played in the Bulldog Bowl, but many of them have not. They'll get to have that experience. So
Yes, sir.
That'll be real nice.
Yes, sir.
Thad, thanks so much for coming in. Appreciate you
Absolutely.
sharing with us.
Yes, sir.
And remember, let's use social media for good.
Yes, sir.
I think
Absolutely.
that's the message. So.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thanks a lot, Thad.
You bet. Thank you.